Welcome to Good Games Spawn Point, the show for younger gamers by gamers. I'm Hex.
I'm Darren.
No, Batman.
Oh, here we go. Spawnlings, it's finally time to review LEGO Batman 2 DC Superheroes.
And Goose will be meeting a pro Dance Dance Revolution player.
Bajo, what are you doing? What is this?
My Batman outfit.
Okay, well, why don't we leave this until the review? Because first up, we've got to review the smartphone game Swordigo.
Can I still put on the onesie?
I mean, I guess, if you want.
Swordigo is one of the best smartphone games we've ever played. Hex, Darren, have you guys ever wondered what it would be like to have Zelda as a 2D side-on platformer?
Of course I have. I'm always asking for a Zelda platformer. Well, that and cat-friendly offices. And Cupcake Rain.
Oh, I can help with that one. Charging my cupcake cow.
No, guys, let's stay on topic. Like almost every other gamer in the world, these developers clearly have a lot of love for Zelda. A young boy setting out on an adventure, an iconic scene where he gets his first sword, cutting grass and smashing pots to collect rupees, and dungeons with treasure chests in them.
I remember being pretty skeptical about this when I first decided to give it a go. I mean, there's just been so many dud platformers on smartphones. Slapping touchscreen controls over a retro classic can result in a pretty broken game.
Affirmative, Hex. Normally the only games that do work well on smartphones are those experiences which are designed around taps and swipes. Swordigo uses an on-screen D-pad, but it's more responsive than any other we've found. It's perfection.
Pretty soon, you just forget completely about the controls and end up double jumping around these well-designed levels like a pro.
And we can't forget that super cool flaming sword. By attaching magical items to your weapons, your sword goes from a vanilla blade to a flaming saber of awesomeness.
But I do think some of the weapons are a bit unbalanced. Your fireball spells do far more damage than the sword, so I found myself upgrading those and barely using anything else. Plus, there's something super satisfying about unleashing fireballs.
Or maybe you just weren't using the swords properly, Bajo. In the hands of a skillful player, they can turn the tables on your enemies spectacularly.
Well, after I'd nearly given up on touchscreen platformers, it's really clear that the developers have lavished a lot of love on this project. I loved it. I'm giving it 8.5 out of 10 rubber chickens.
I couldn't agree more, Hex. And while I always prefer an actual D-pad and buttons that I can feel and touch with my hands, this was masterful work. I'm giving it 9 out of 10. It really tapped into that nostalgia.
Well, I'm off to read the news.
Okay.
Bajo, you were saying that your utility belt doesn't fit you properly anymore?
Yeah, I've grown out of it.
I could punch a couple more holes in it.
Oh, that'd be good, Darren.
Hex here with all the news from around the gaming world. Nintendo has unveiled a revised version of the 3DS called the 3DS XL. The new model does not have a second analog stick and would appear to be incompatible with the current CirclePad Pro add-on. It is set to go on sale in Australia on August 23rd. Valve Software has announced that they will offer schools and students access to free copies of Portal 2. By signing up at the Teach with Portals website, teachers can get access to the game, as well as the Portal 2 Puzzle Maker, where students can create new levels and share them with classmates. And finally, YouTube user Cruximissa did this. And that's the news for this week.
And this, Bajo, is how you do the Batusi. Forward,
Like that?
back. Yes, affirmative.
That's pretty good, Darren, but not as good as Wendy, whose love of Dance Dance Revolution has influenced her choice of career, as Goose found out.
Hi, my name's Wendy and I'm a dance instructor and I'm also a gamer. So I guess I started gaming since I was 5. My dad bought me a console when I was bored and he just gave it to me. So I've loved games ever since. Favorite genre when I was a kid was probably fighting games. I played like Street Fighter 2 and King of Fighters, which is more popular in Asia than in here. And then I sort of moved on to arcade games, so I started playing DDR. I just love games.
So Wendy, can you explain to me what is DDR?
Yep, DDR stands for Dance Dance Revolution. It was the original dancing game that came out that started the physical movement along with games. It's just a big stage, and on the stage there's a mat with arrows, top, left, right and down. and they basically flash as you play. And the whole aim of the game is just to step on those arrows as they come up on the screen, and you have a variety of music you can choose from, and yeah, it's really fun.
Can you tell me what are some of the achievements you've gained through playing games like DDR?
Okay, I guess I got really serious with DDR after a while. I used to print out the patterns from my computer, stick them up on my wall, play the song and practice and practice. After a while, I entered a DDR competition and I came third in the women's category in the eastern states, so Queensland, New South Wales and Victoria, and 17th overall with the males in as well. It's been really interesting. I was in the arcade one day and there was a notice up asking for DDR players. So I went to the place. It turned out to be a music video for Tina Arena. It was a really fun experience. Got to meet Tina Arena, which was really cool. Yeah, it was really fun.
Now, you're working as a dance instructor. Can you tell me, how did you get from playing DDR to becoming a dance instructor?
I guess when you play DDR, you like moving to the rhythm. I think that's the first thing I picked up from it. You learn to listen to songs and you want to hit certain beats and things like that because that's just the way the pattern goes when you step on the arrows. And I guess dance was just a natural way to do it. My friend dragged me to dance, to dance class, and then I really enjoyed it, so I just kept going from there, and again, I just wanted to get really good at it, so I just kept practicing and practicing.
Okay, Wendy, I've always considered myself a pretty good dancer, but there is room for improvement. Do you reckon you could give me a couple of tips?
Okay, sure, Goose. Okay, so let's start with the first move. Okay, so you're gonna step with your left, go over with your arms, and then step together, and you're gonna catch.
Catch, all right.
Yeah, you're gonna go down with your body, you're gonna open your body up.
Ooh,
and it's just as simple as rebounding down, up, off your body, yeah? Yeah,
okay.
Awesome, got it. Best part of the job is probably seeing my students grow and seeing them, happy, enjoying themselves. If I'm not, making them have fun in class, to me, I haven't done my job. So for me, seeing them grow as dancers and things like that has been really great. I mean, I started training some kids from my old class, formed a crew with them. We've all practiced together and they came third in the Australian Hip Hop Championships last year, so they were really proud of themselves and they're just getting better and better, and it's just really good to see.
What advice would you have to any spawnlings who want to get into it and maybe play a bit of DDR as well?
Yeah, well, if you love games, I start off with DDR. I mean, there's a lot of options these days. I mean, there's a dance game on Wii and Xbox, and that's a really good lead into dancing because I think it's much more reflective of real dancing as opposed to DDR. So I'd get on one of those and have a go. They do teach you a lot of basic moves that you can use. Yeah, and get yourself into classes and really have fun with that because I think it's really good to get out there and exercise and get your body moving. It's really exciting.
Catch me as I'm riding by. I that incredible guy. I wings out. That's right, I'm so fly. I land on him like a plane out the sky.
Thanks, Goose. Bajo, why are you dressed as Batman now? The review's not till later in the show.
I was just trying it on, just to make sure it all fits. Any excuse to wear a onesie, Hex, and I will take it.
Okay, well, let's just get straight into these questions, shall we? We've got this one from Jared the Dogfish, who's in Happyville, Queensland.
It is a bit snug.
Ha, GGSP. I want to know, what was that game Darren told you where you have to walk? It's really hard, but you got to 100-meter thanks. If you answer.
That's an easy one, Jared. It's called QWOP, spelled Q-W-O-P. It's a free-to-play browser game, so just do an internet search and you should find it easily enough.
Yes, and there's also a two-player version called 2QWOP if you want to get a bit competitive with a friend. Moving on to this one now from Tanktoon in West Ryde, New South Wales. Really?
Hi GGSP, I was just wondering if you knew how to get Altair in the Xbox 360 Prince of Persia. If so, can you tell me? P.S. Bajo and Hex is awesome. P.P.S. Darren sucks. We sure do know how to get the Altair skin, Tanktoon. All you have to do is head to the Ubisoft website, register an account, and then link that to either your Xbox gamer tag or PSN ID. And hey presto, you unlock the Altair skin in the game next time you sign in.
Easy enough. So let's move on to this one from Lady Chi-Chi, who lives in Frankston in the Australian Capital Territory. Lady Chi-Chi.
Chi-chi-chi-chi-chi.
Is Flipnote Studio coming out on the 3DS? Please tell me, and please answer my question. Please, 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 or I will slowly become a noob. So please, this is like my 6th time asking, so please, thanks, bye-bye. Darren is a noob. Ha! Well, Lady Chi-Chi, the bad news is that Flipnote Studio is not coming out for the 3DS, and you can't download or transfer the DS version to a 3DS either.
No, but the good news is Nintendo has confirmed a new version is coming for the 3DS called Flipnote Memo. Although other than knowing its name and that it's free, we know nothing else about it. They simply confirmed it's coming at some point, and we'd assume it would have support for 3D notes.
Well, next up we've got this one from I Can't You, but I Will Anyway, 1D Fan 101. Who lives in an oven in Queensland.
It's already pretty hot in Queensland.
Sounds really dangerous. Terrible place to live.
Yeah, don't live
What
in
if someone
ovens.
turned it on to make some muffins or something and you're living in there? It's
You would
terrible.
get free muffins, but
I suggest you move.
You move out of there.
Sir.
Despite muffins.
Or madam.
Can you please do a review on Temple Run? Hex, you are the best, and the rest are noobs.
Well, for those of you who don't know, Temple Run is a free game for smartphones. It's a fairly simple score attack game where you try to run for as far as possible without falling down or hitting any obstacles.
You just swipe the screen to jump, duck, or change direction, and tilt to move left and right on the track. It's got decent 3D graphics and plenty of goals to achieve, plus you can collect coins to unlock new characters or power-ups.
We definitely recommend it if you're looking for a fun mobile distraction. But let's move on to this one from Bill Kerman, who lives in Perth in Victoria. Hi guys, my spaceship is not getting to the Mun. Your design will not get off the ground. Me and my crew want to see the full clip of your rocket or else I will be fired.
Oh no, Hex, are we gonna have to call you-know-who and see if he can come down and help us out with this again?
No, I'm pretty sure we don't need to call Darren. I've got this one. Oh.
You said his name. Oh, you take it.
Hello? Hi, Darren. No, I actually know the answer to this one, so we don't... No, we... No. Okay, well, look, how about I'll just leave the phone off the hook here so you can listen to my answer, and if you think that's incorrect, then you can correct me, but I'm pretty sure you'll find that I've got this one covered. So,
Good idea.
I know what you're doing wrong, Bill. If your rocket isn't getting off the ground, then just check that you've got the throttle set to maximum before liftoff. To increase throttle, just press left shift and you should see this little needle go all the way to the top of the gauge. Once it's set to max, hit space and you should get liftoff.
But if that doesn't help, then make sure all of the engines on the base of the rocket are firing. If some of them aren't, then you might need to rearrange their order so that all the engines on the bottom are placed in the very first stage of your rocket. But they should all be there automatically anyway.
Okay, just 1 second. Hi, how was that? Your mum was good? Oh, but Barjo's was... Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. Yours wasn't very good, apparently. Sorry.
Mine was correct, though. Yeah, it was correct. Oh, he says my intonation was off.
Oh.
He says I didn't put the right emphasis on the right words.
Okay.
It's pedantic, Darren. He's got me on hold now.
Well, good luck with it, Bill, and Godspeed to you and your brave Kerbal crew. But moving on to this one now from Chuckles Mango in Mango Mansion, Western Australia.
Good whole music, though.
Oh, really? What's
I think it's from one of his albums. You know, when he was Darren and the Amazings in Japan?
The Christmas
the
one?
punk fusion rock band
Oh,
that
the
he used
punk
to be in.
fusion rock
Yeah,
band.
not the Christmas one. Although
love
he did
that band.
Hey, Darren. Yeah. Yep. He's just started singing now. Hi GGSP, I really like Machinarium and want to know if there is a sequel or if there are any other games by the same company. And if you don't tell me, I will blast out of this galaxy and never be seen again! From Chuckles Mango. P.S. I like making sad faces and smileys. Well, Chuckles, there isn't a sequel to Machinarium, but the developers Amanita Design have made quite a few other games. The most recent was the delightful Botanicula, which we reviewed a little while back and quite enjoyed.
They've also made the Samorost series, which is some more lovely point-and-click games. There's 2 games in the series out now, with a 3rd in development.
And other than that, they've only made a few little games as interactive promotions for bands and companies.
Right, well, moving on to this one from Sam in Super Mario World in Victoria. Hi, good game. My friends and I are frustrated about how to get the ride a pig off the cliff achievement. Could I please have some help? Sam. P.S. Darren, stop firing your noob laser. It hurts.
Well, that can be a bit of a tricky achievement to get in Minecraft, especially if you're playing on 360. The hardest part is simply getting a saddle, since you can't actually craft one.
You can find one in a dungeon chest, or you can buy one for a bunch of gems from a butcher villager, but seeing as the Xbox versions don't actually have trading or villagers yet, you'll just need to find one in a dungeon. Although there is a saddle kicking around in the Xbox tutorial world, so that could make it a lot easier for you.
Good tip. And once you have the saddle, it shouldn't be too hard to find a pig to put it on. The tricky part here is finding one near a cliff, because you can't actually steer the pig once you start riding it, and then you just gotta hope it runs off a cliff.
Well, good luck with that, Sam. But moving on to this one from BMX Bandit in Dirtland, Victoria.
Hi GGSP, I was just wondering if you could recommend some of your favorite downloadable for Trials Evolution. Thanks. Sure thing, BMX Bandit, but I think it'll just be easier for us to show a few of them rather than list them out. Roll the tape!
Well, there's definitely some great stuff out there, but moving on to this one from Plastic Bag in Perth, Western Australia. Hey guys, sorry Hex, but this question is for Bajo. At E3, did you hear a rumour of a new Ratchet & Clank game coming out on the PS3? My friend told me that it was going to be a trilogy of the first 3 games from PS2. If it is coming out, can you please give me a sneak peek? Thanks! Ah! Huh? Well, Plastic Bag...
I think you'll find that question was directed at Bajo, Hex, not Hex.
Yeah, but I know the answer, so...
It was still directed towards me, so I feel like it is my duty to answer the question.
Fine.
Well, Plastic Bag, there wasn't any new Ratchet & Clank shown at E3, but just before E3 they announced that there would be a brand new game in the series coming out this year, as well as the HD remaster of the original PS2 trilogy, and here's a quick peek at that.
Well, go on. Go fight some evil.
But we don't know heaps about the new game other than it's called Ratchet & Clank Full Frontal Assault, and it'll be a fun-size game, only available as a download from the PSN store.
That's right, but hopefully we'll get a new full-size Ratchet & Clank game soon.
Indeed. Well, on that note, I think we're out of time for this week, and if you've got a question you'd like to ask us, then jump on here and send it in. Right, we've got... Whoa, he really is Batman.
Hex, Darren, there's only one thing I like more than being Batman in a game, and that's being Batman again in a game. Lego Batman 2 DC Superheroes is my favourite Lego game yet, because not only do I get to be Batman again in a game, but you also get to play with some of his friends.
Yes, Bats is back, and this time the Joker teams up with Superman's rival Lex Luthor, and they work together to try and defeat Batman and Superman and get Lex elected as president.
I hope you voted before you got here, because you might not be leaving.
You diseased maniac! No one is going to elect you president.
This is the first Lego game with actual voices instead of Lego grunts. And what do you think, guys? Do you think it worked? I think it worked. It felt like a natural step for the series, and it means I can tell a better story too.
Look at that face. It's like, what's he gonna say? What's going to come out of that mouth of his?
Affirmative. Lego Batman 1 was a decent installment, but it was different from other Lego games in that it wasn't based on a film, so gamers found it harder to connect with the story. The addition of voices fixes that problem.
We have to stop them. You think?
Yeah, and I think some of the actors here actually voiced some of the characters from the cartoons over the years. They all just sounded right, didn't they?
Yeah.
There are some standout moments in the campaign, such as exciting on-rail sections and fighting the massive Joker bot through the sky and then on the robot and then back into the sky.
Yeah, that was my favourite bit, I think, and there's a decent length to this game too. It's classic Lego gameplay. You have to make use of all the characters and their abilities to solve certain puzzles. Robin and Batman have a variety of suits to wear, such as Electricity Batman that lets him walk through electrical hazards. Robin has a hazmat suit to soak up hazardous goo. There's also Stealthy Sensor Batman. And many more.
I found the puzzles to be very simple. I was hoping they'd get harder and be more about lateral thinking rather than just using the right suit to activate a trigger here and there.
Yeah, they're not very challenging, are they? The game trains you to look for what you can interact with, and so that means you don't really know why you're activating a switch, you just do it because that's what you should be doing. I did enjoy the boss fights, though.
Batman, am I pleased to see you?
Yeah, I don't know. I think the developers were really looking to create a game that was going to be enjoyed by younger gamers and older gamers alike. And I think they've really achieved a decent level of challenge and lots of Lego fun here that will keep people interested. When you're playing on your own, though, your AI buddy is rubbish.
Yeah.
They can't fight very well at all and can be a tiny bit fiddly when activating switches or buttons here and there, so the challenge is in keeping enemies at bay while sorting out the puzzle. When you play with a real person, the challenge becomes about communication, telling each other what you need to do to get through a section.
Yes, and it doesn't always go to plan, does it? Because friendly fire is always on.
It should be called unfriendly fire, really.
Yeah. After a while, you unlock Superman, and here is where the game changes quite a bit.
Look, I'll hang around and give you a hand. Remember, I can do anything.
Superman can fly, he's got cooling breath, he can laser things with his eyes. And he's virtually indestructible when there's no kryptonite around. When you're playing as Superman, you do have to let go of the fact that really he could solve all of the platforming problems in the game by just bashing through a wall and flying Batman and Robin to safety.
Affirmative. You could tell it was quite a challenge for the developers to put Superman in the game because he's so overpowered. They've developed a system for what he can and can't do. Superman can't laser silver objects, for example, but he can destroy gold ones. Eventually, Superman gets kryptonite sickness, which weakens him down to Batman's level and makes him less fun to play with.
Yeah, I mean, aside from the times when he's sick, I would argue that Superman is actually more fun to play than Batman. Well, I mean, he can fly, and he can laser, and he's indestructible. I mean, it just makes me want a Lego Superman game, really. There's even a point where you can fly to Metropolis and you can see the whole world built in it, which makes me think that maybe they're already working on a game, or there's some DLC coming, who knows?
Back it up a second, Hex. Did you just say that Superman is better than Batman?
Be very careful how you respond, Hex. I sense an increase in Bajo's temperature, and this usually leads to a Bajo rant.
Listen, I'm just saying that in this game specifically, it's more fun to play as Superman than as Batman in this game. Specifically.
I hate to say it, I think you're right. It's just that Batman just can't do as much stuff without having to switch suits, and that mechanic gets a bit tedious. Plus, you can't quick-fire batarangs or grapples, you can only do it by painting targets except in very specific situations, and that takes time. You should be able to zip around this open world fluidly as Batman, and you can't.
In story missions, you eventually get to play as Cyborg, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, and the Flash, but most of their abilities you've seen before in some form.
Yes, it is fun being all these other characters, but it's a shame they didn't work more on their abilities. Green Lantern is the worst. All he can do is just fly. You do get to use his ring in very specific situations, but you don't actually get to do the cool stuff that his ring can do.
Outrageous!
Yeah, it certainly is outrageous, Darren. I just wish they'd spent more time fleshing out these characters and their unique abilities, such as the Flash. He can go fast. Why not have some timed puzzles in there? Or Cyborg, he could hack computers.
Yeah, there's a lot of classic Lego restrictions throughout these levels. And the combat is still the same too. You just mash buttons and then occasionally do a special move for more studs.
Yeah, it's about time we had some combo attacks, or maybe some more special moves. I mean, these are superheroes. Let them be super.
Lego Batman 2 does take one huge step forward. It's set in an open world. This means in between missions, you can roam a Lego-infused Gotham City at your leisure, saving civilians, unlocking characters along the way, and collecting those precious gold bricks and studs.
Yeah, and Gotham is just awesome too, isn't it? The city is dark and gritty, almost always raining, and it's just how I imagine it would look in a Lego universe. Also, it's in turmoil, so the streets are filled with civilians and gang members for you to take care of.
Yes, chilling out in the Batcave has certainly fulfilled a dream of mine, and going to Wayne Manor and meeting Alfred, even though you can't actually go inside, and something I've never done in a game before that I've always wanted to do, drive around an open world of Gotham City in the Batmobile, all with that wonderful classic Batman music.
And not only the Batmobile, but Robin and Batman's bikes and helicopters and a bunch of others you can unlock along the way. We've played this game for about 15 hours and there's still lots of mini-games around the place. There's so much to find and collect.
Oh, I enjoyed flying about and causing havoc in Brainiac's spaceship. Watch out, Ligonians. Darren is here to teach you a lesson on laser avoidance.
I did kind of wish we had a bit of a daytime Gotham map to run around in though, because it is very dark and it can also be hard to see a little stud bread trail of GPS markings on the road because they're the same colour as the studs you have to find.
Yeah, there's a lot going on screen at once, and it would be nice to have some more camera views for the vehicles as well.
Sadly, there's no online co-op, but the trademarked LEGO local split screen returns. Things struggle to keep smooth in the open world, but it's mostly fine in the missions. And it is a very beautiful and often spectacular looking game. There's none of that foggy background, and you'll notice a nice detail and good use of reflections.
The camera is a bit stubborn in the open world, especially when flying in a vehicle or as Superman. I just found it difficult to really navigate precisely.
I think what I like most about this game is the story. It's about Batman letting go and accepting help from others, and he doesn't like getting help from others, especially Superman, so it's quite fun watching that play out. I just hope the next game in the series evolves that combat a bit more and irons out all of those niggling control issues, because it has so much potential. Anyway, what are you giving it, Hex?
Well, all in all, I wish it had more story and less stud collecting, but I think it's a fine LEGO game and I'm giving it 7 out of 10 rubber chickens.
I'm giving it 7.5.
Bajo, do you wear those tights to strike terror into the hearts of criminals?
Yes.
They're super effective. Time's up for another week.
Well, Bajo, you got to dress up this week, so next week I get to dress up because we're reviewing the latest Pokemon game, Pokemon Conquest.
And we're off to Melbourne to the Australian Centre for the Moving Image to check out a new exhibition called Game Masters.
Yes, this exhibition charts the history of video games and features some of the most brilliant developers who've created the games we love to play.
Well, until then, gamers, Bajo out.
Hex out.
Darren out. Are you sure you're going to be able to wear that on the plane, Bajo?
I'll just fly there, Darren.
Well, do you want us to sing the theme song for you while you fly out?
I'll grapple there. Yeah, go for it.